I'm not single, I'm unyoked. And there's a difference.
Genesis to Revelation. This the story of a good one. In the middle of the madness, let it be known.
Gospel Luke cut to a true.
I'm a soldier in the struggle, dilemma of a good one. Trying to read the signs while I'm moving with the hood one. Scripture in my ear, feel the weight of the test. But the streets pull me back, Lord grant me rest. Matthew told me pray, Romans keep me strong. Dilemma of a good one, trying to right these wrongs. Temptation in the mirror, spirit in the sky. I'm a good one in the battle, never let the faith die. This dilemma of a good one, walking that fine line. Faith in my heart, but the struggle on my mind. I'm the dilemma of a good one, standing in the light between the pulpit and the block, trying to do right.
Dilemma of a good one, hold on to the truth. From the block to the booth, trying to find my proof. Dilemma of a good one, walking with the saints. Even when I stumble, never showing no complaints.
So, rolling through the bay, dilemma of a good one. Gospel in my speakers, never backing from the front. Ephesians on my mind, trying to keep my spirit up. Proverbs in the chamber when the game get tough. Matthew 7 in my pocket, wolves trying to bite. But the good one in the hustle, moving righteous in the night. DJ cut the beat, bring it back, scratch it raw. Dilemma of a good one, scripture in my draw.
Dilemma of a good one, faith on my tongue. The line we are so holy, where the real get it done. I'm a bishop in the trenches, watch me speak in these flows. Scripture mixed with hustle, yeah, the good one never falls.
It's the dilemma of a good one, like a prayer in the mist. Trying to dodge a serpent's hiss, keep my spirit legit. I'm the good one in the battle, never fade. In the cuts, bay, lingo when Bible talk, never switching up. This dilemma of a good one, walking that fine line. Faith in my heart, but the struggle
5,
on my
4,
mind.
3,
The dilemma
2,
of a good one,
Lord have
standing
mercy.
in the light
1.
between the pulpit and the block, trying to do right. Yeah.
Dilemma of a good one, seek dilemma of a good, dilemma of a good one. Dilemma of a good one, dilemma of a good, dilemma of a good one. Dilemma of a good
From
one.
the concrete to the pew, Bay Area stand up, spirit strong, never lose. DJ run in the mix, keep it holy in the groove. Dilemma of a good one is for the chosen few.
Now in the Bay Area, we have a traffic phrase. It's called Yoked. That's when we see a lane, we want it, and aggressively cut others off to take it. Unfortunately, in our culture, this is what a lot of good girls want. They work, take care of their children, and may even go to church on most Sundays of the month, appearing spiritual, sanctified, and single. But 9 times out of 10, or 96 times out of 100, they got a thuggish, ruckish bone somewhere blowing their phone up. I've been here before. Not blowing no phones up because I don't play those games, but I was blowing something else up. But back to the subject at hand. In farmer times, farms like, in the days of farming and everything, a yoke is a wooden beam or a frame that joins 2 animals together so that they can pull a load in the same direction at the same pace under the same weight. I was reading the devotional and it highlighted Deuteronomy chapter 32, and it spoke of one person can chase off 1,000, but 2 can handle 10,000. In other words, 2 working together is 10 times better than 1 working solo. This symbols connection, a partnership, shared direction, shared responsibility, and shared burden. To be yoked means you are tied to someone or something in a way that affects how you move, decide, and progress, such as a job. But the consensus is the only way to tell if a woman loves a man, a black man growing up in the hood that I grew up in, is she either A, giving you money, you know what I mean? Pay like she weigh, as a lot of them say, you know what I mean? Or B, she gives them the goods. And when she does both, she's considered a good woman, a keeper. Not always true, not necessarily so. Walk with me, we're gonna go somewhere. Honestly, I be wanting to yoke up on a woman so fast, but I've changed, and I want a lot more for myself than what I used to settle for. Now, for you music lovers out there, Teddy Pendergrass said it like this: not 70-30, not 60-40, talking about a 50-50 love. Me and my picky self, I'm looking for 100-100 love, at least in the intentions or the approach of it all. There are times when these other numbers work though. For instance, when you're uncomfortably yoked to someone, you can't move freely on your own. Their speed affects your speed. Their direction affects your direction. Their strength or weakness affects your outcome. And in these instances, a 70-30 or a 60-40 may be ideal, but it's better to keep it 100 with both of y'all. otherwise you're living in convenience. That's why misalignment matters. Now, take it back to the back of the days. Now, I've been unyoked now for, man, going on 16 and a half years, believe it or not. During COVID is when I first realized and rationalized, because I wasn't always DJing, wasn't always outside like before, so therefore not around a whole lot of people. And it was then in the, kicking back in my very plush 2-bedroom apartment, to be honest with you, high tub, my bedroom, everything else. I was just kicking back, and it was just me, my 4 walls, my TV, and my iPad. You know what I mean? Phone calls from time to time, music to listen to, but no companion, you know what I mean? No social interaction or whatnot. And that's when I realized that, hey, I've been single for a long time. You know what I mean? Maybe it's time to quote Charlie Wilson, to, meet somebody or whatnot. And I promise you, I had several candidates that I dealt with, you know what I mean? But time after time, unyoked. And this just didn't start then in 2020. Let's go back to 2010 when I first separated from my wife and took some time to heal, to chill a little bit and everything else, and dealt with some struggles, honestly. You know what I mean? There was a time where the Lord was certainly important in my life. And I remember being suited something similar to this, and on the back of the bus, catching the bus to church because my car situation wasn't the way to get there at that particular point in time. There'll be other stories about that, I'm sure, at the right time, but let's get back to what we're talking about now. So I was on the bus, and a young lady got on there, and I knew she looked familiar. She's from my neighborhood, you know what I mean? And she was showing quite a bit of interest. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, you seen me all these times before, you never tried to holler at me before. She said, yeah, but I never seen you looking like this. Now, to her, she may have had her eyes on the prize, suited, booted, or whatnot, on my way to church. You know what I mean? To me, all I saw was a love mate, you know what I mean? Maybe once or twice, you know what I mean? And that'll be that. And, to be transparent with y'all, yeah, we enjoyed ourselves, you know what I mean? A couple of times. But it was nothing I could lock into just because of the approach. And you see me all these different times. Maybe you're just looking for a godly man or whatnot. I don't know. So, don't judge me. You could actually, I'm not trying to be judging her like that, but this was 16 years ago. So now, as I'm hearing the story now, that may have been something she was looking for. Maybe she was looking for a change of pace, change of speed. You know what I mean? Maybe she was trying to yoke onto something a little bit more spiritual than what she was used to dealing with. You know what I'm saying? That's a challenge within itself, and I'm going to talk about it in a moment. But ride with me. We're going to go somewhere, all right? Another time I was driving an Escalade. Yes, I said Escalade. And, that attracts eyes as big as the 26s is on the whip. Like Jay-Z said, they didn't want him until he pulled up in that dubbed out buggy. You know what I mean? So I understand that attraction starts somewhere, and Lord knows I'm attracted to the ladies, but women with vapors make me sick. And folks wonder why they're in relationships that are transactional or toxical or either trapational. A relationship that feels like love at first, but slowly becomes a trap. You're not growing, you're just stuck emotionally, financially, spiritually, or maybe even mentally. Sometimes it's any combination of 2, 3, and Lord forbid, all 4. A yoke is anything that binds 2 lives together under the same direction, weight, and responsibility. A yoke ties 2 people together so closely that one person's choices affects the other one's progress. Because being a yoke isn't about relationship status, it's about alignment. Some of us aren't alone, which is no longer tied to people, patterns, or situations that was pulling us in the wrong direction. Like, comment, subscribe if you feel what I'm saying, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. We're going to go a little bit deeper. Before we get into tonight's dilemma, I want you to hear wisdom, not pressure. This isn't about choosing a spouse. It's about becoming whole. This is what preparation sounds like when it's rooted in God and not in desperation.
So one young man, I said, he's looking for a wife. I said, let me tell you something. How you going to find a wife? When you tell a wife, when you list your desires and say something that you want to do, the woman that's your wife will pick it up and already get ideas and present it back to you. If none of the women can hear what you say, none of them are your wives, and you need to leave them alone. The woman that is supposed to be for him will hear what he wants to accomplish, pick it up, research it, come back and say, okay, here's some options.
Mm-hmm. That wasn't about earning a man. That was about alignment with God. Because when you're aligned with God, you're not auditioning for relationships, you're discerning them. Tonight's dilemma is called Unyoked. And we're not just talking about relationships, we're talking about connection. Because yoking isn't just spiritual, it's relational, moral, and ethical. I once asked a question on my Facebook not too long ago, and I prefaced it by saying, where are my God-fearing ladies at? I wanted to have a discussion, and no one came forth. 3,000 plus Facebook friends and not a one. Because to be God-fearing is to be world-weary. Now, granted, not everyone sees everyone's posts nowadays. As a matter of fact, I'm seeing posts from folks that I don't even know. But my point is, that's how we go through life, looking for that equally yoked person, the ones we thought were equally yoked anyway. I just knew there was going to be several ladies who was going to step up. I could just name them. I thought they were yoked, and we would find out that they're not. At least they don't see themselves as such. And that's important too. That's why it's essential that a good man prays to God for his good woman. Oftentimes, this is not done, and well, the rest is history. Now, this morning's devotional, when I woke up this morning, I was reading and talked about Joshua. God's leader of many did not ask God about a group of people who resorted to deception to infiltrate. The devil's tactic is to deceive and infiltrate us at all times. Pray to God about this. She looks and sounds good, but she gave me cause for pause. I would tell my son, she a op. Let's get back to why that's important, okay? We're going to listen to this lady right here, because I'm saying that to say, most men, y'all know I'm speaking for y'all, want somebody who's ready to help you while you're looking at the field to purchase first stage. You can see a house being built there, but you don't have it yet. Or you got the field, start your foundation, right? Got your rebar laying down, everything. Cement about to be poured pretty soon, you know what I'm saying? House not built yet. Oh, wouldn't it be good to just have somebody just come along and say, hey, show me what to do, how to go about doing it, and we could build this thing together. I'm gonna let her cook. Well, I'm gonna let her build her little sandcastle real quick. Here we go, y'all. Here we go. We're gonna knock it down. Here we go.
I don't know. I don't want a man who's already at the finish line. Like, that's boring to me. I want to be with somebody who's in their journey. Like, I want to be there through the growth. That's the exciting part. I enjoy those late nights when we're putting strategy together. We're trying to come up with.
He's talking to me. He's showing me the blueprints. He's explaining to me that this is going to be that. The kitchen's going to be here. The bedroom's going to be there. Oh, we're strategizing together. I like that. Sounds good.
Late nights when we're putting strategy together. We're trying to come up with this new plan to go from $100,000 a month to $500,000 a month.
That's where I call Cat Pistol. Rewind it back one more time so you can hear it. Just listen closely. Brothers, listen with your brains, not with your eyes and with your little head. Big head. This one up here, not down there. All right? I can say that, right? Righteous Ron, I'm not there yet, right? All right, listen. One more time.
I want to be there through the growth. That's the exciting part. I enjoy those late nights when we're putting strategy together. We're trying to come up with this new plan to go from $100,000 a month to $500,000 a month. Like, how?
One more time. Then we're going to come back to it in just a moment.
I want to be there through the growth. That's the exciting part. I enjoy those late nights when we're putting strategy together. We're trying to come up with this new plan to go from $100,000 a month to $500,000 a month. Like, I want to be there through the ups and downs. I want to be there when we don't have nothing but prayer to lean on. Like, we're really working, because that builds a bond that is untouchable. That's a different level of intimacy for me.
Oh, that sounds so good, especially when she got to the prayers part. Man, especially when she got to the prayers part. Fellas, y'all see that shrimp in the water? See, it's a hook attached to it too, right? There is a hook attached to it. Just saying. She's suspicious. Yeah. Take the bait. Don't be hooked. Here we go.
Right? And then it's like we earned it together. Like, money.
Mind you what she said. He's was trying to strategize how he can go from $100,000 a month to $500,000 a month. And ultimately, we do the prayers. We go through the ups and downs. We watch the windows we watch the bricks getting laid down and everything else.
Feels different when it's multiplied by partnership, do you know how much more you can do together?
She's absolutely right about that.
Facts. Two can certainly do more than one, especially when they're aligned and going in the right direction together. But what's the problem with a lady like this? She looks, sounds good, but she gave me a cause for pause. I tell my son, she's out. The devotion referenced 2 Corinthians 11 and 14, that he, the devil himself, masquerades as an angel of light. How much more do we want God to tell us he's a op, she's a op? Think about it. They say the devil wears Prada because deception never looks dangerous at first. Sometimes it looks successful. Sometimes it looks attractive. Sometimes it looks just like what you prayed for. But just because it looks good doesn't mean it's God. Now, this conversation isn't just believer versus non-believer. It's the same faith label, different fruit. It's the same church, but different convictions. Same prayers, different priorities. Sometimes it looks peaceful, but it's stagnant, unmaritally yoked. This is when somebody wants the weight of a role that they haven't earned. Marriage benefits without marital responsibility, loyalty without consistency, a future without discipline. Let's keep it real. We're living at a time where we ought to be able to recognize that the black man's life is haunted, hated, and hunted. Say that one more time. The black man's life is haunted, hated, and hunted. And we're the ones with the most to lose. It's about what we do as far as purpose goes, who we do it for as far as provision goes, and who we do it with. Partnership. Potential is loud, but proven character is quiet.
You can't pray for a man of God and keep acting like a city girl. You say you want a husband, but you still have an OnlyFans account, girl. You say you want a husband, but you're in a club every single weekend. You say you want a husband, but you rather get drunk instead of consecrating yourself and preparing to be a Proverbs 31 woman. And let's be real, God is not going to send you his son while you're still entertaining what he told you to let go of. You can't ask for a kingdom man while you're still living like you want the world's attention. You cannot want a man who leads in purpose if you keep settling for ones who only lead in lust. You say you want a husband, but you haven't even prepared yourself to be the woman of God he called you to be so that he can find you. If you're praying for something real, you have to become what you're praying for. You want a man who is solid? Be a woman who is stable. You want a love that lasts? Stop playing like it's the casual flame. So let's not play these games, because God can't do what you won't do.
Remember the owner of the club and thin line between love and hate? Martin and Bobby couldn't understand how he could own a candy store and not want to taste any of the sweeties that was coming through. The owner was displaying his character and that he was a man of merit. The quality of being particularly good or worthy, especially so as to deserve praise or reward. My Dilemma of a Good One, episode number 2, was called The Truth About a Good Man. To be considered good, G-O, capital O, capital D, is not about how well he provides for or spoils his good thing. It's about knowing what you have at home is better than anything else this world has to offer. To become a person of merit is not just a title given, it's a title earned. And it's also realizing that it isn't only men who mess up their good thing, but women can too. Back in the days, in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, as a matter of fact, when I first started hustling, let's just put it like that. When I first started going to the street, you know, many men are going to tell you that there's somebody that they aspire to, that they admire, that they want to be like. Well, there was this young brother who was a lot like that for me. You know what I mean? He had the vehicle I wanted to drive. Definitely was having money all the time. You know, it was nothing for him to pop a trunk, have $10,000 stacked back there. You know what I'm saying? They had a pretty good reputation. Plus, if I'm 100 with you, keep it 100 with you, the life looked like it was just fun and games. You know what I mean? And as a young teenage brother, you know, you don't really see all the perils and everything else. All you see is success. So that goes again. The devil can make a lie look good. Can make a lie look good. But anyway, he actually got married, and you know, For me, that was kind of like a little different because, I thought players was players, you know what I mean? But he got married and they lasted for a good little while too, you know what I'm saying? But the thing about it was they were married, and just like the brothers have somebody to look up to, women do as well. I was at a popular fish and chip spot in my city in Richmond, and, shout out H Soft Fish and Chips. Wish they were around. And people from Richtown, they know what I'm talking about. It's gone now, but I was sitting there chilling, eating, you know what I mean? Have my back to some females that was sitting in the next booth over. And she's like, well, what he doing now? Oh, he driving such and such. And then he got that, you know what I mean, on GoOD, was just parked away and everything. Well, what about her? Because it seemed like they doing good. Oh, yeah, he got her riding a whoop, and she got her cool job here and there and everything else. Talking about my folks and his wife, right? But they were not talking in a hating standpoint. They was talking in an admiration. They was talking from a point of admiration. You get what I'm saying? So I'm saying that men and women in their right mind aspire to have a good life like that with one another. You know what I mean? Every young lady wants a dude that's able to provide and do those kind of things. You know what I mean? The problem is, the challenge is that we succumb to some of those bad things, some of the bait, and we settled for what we thought we wanted, and hopefully when we get later on in life, we realize what we do want. Now, why did I say it like that about my friends? Well, of course, there's probably some flags in both of their lives. They didn't make it because of infidelity, among other things. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure that it was there in the beginning, but as we get older, get more mature, we start to get more solid in what it is that we want. You understand what I'm saying? Usually. Now, another example is two young ladies who actually missed their exit, so to speak. You know what I mean? Because they went from these women who want to be married like that to becoming successful themselves. Now, guess what? They feel like they're too good for the average brother. You understand what I'm saying? And it's sad, you know what I mean? You're blessed with it, you have it, you're living well or whatnot, and now all of a sudden, most, if not all men are beneath them. And that's a shame, though, you know what I'm saying? As one of them, I'll be honest with you, I had a prayer and I asked the Lord to do A, B, and C for me. You know what I mean? Lord, this is how I want to live. You know, I haven't been in the streets no more or whatnot. I've turned myself over. I've given my life to you. You know what I mean? And not that I was bargaining with the Lord, but I was petitioning because he does say, hey, bring your requests and desires to him, and with thanksgiving and supplication, and he will hear you, and his peace will surpass all understanding. Well, this night I had some dreams. I was asking big. And what's crazy is the next day I had a young lady who reached out to me. Now, I've known her before. I DJed her birthday party before. And now she was reaching out for me to DJ her baby's birthday party. I think it was a Sweet 16 or something like that. So when I go to the house to get the deposit, I'm looking at the house. The lady had basically what I wanted. You know what I mean? Now, she wasn't what I want. She wasn't what I wanted as far as the package that she came and everything else. You know, me and my highly picky self and everything else. Knowing now, because I know her character, I'll probably go for it. But this is what I'm trying to say. She had the vehicles I wanted. She had the house basically like I wanted and everything else. You get what I'm saying? And she would make a good woman for a lot of men. However, there's a reason why she's single. You know, and I'm not going to dwell on that because I'm not about tearing anybody down and like that. But, you know, time will promote or expose any and everybody, which brings me to lady number 2. Now, this young lady right here is somebody who I was attracted to that I really hadn't seen before. You know, this is like a great friend of mine from back in the days that we connected again during COVID. And it was just our conversation. It was just the character that really showed to me, that was really like blowing minds. You know what I'm saying? But remember, a lot of times, and this is a challenge, this is a problem that a lot of people make. You know, you have a lot of brothers who feel like they're so good. Matter of fact, I was having this conversation with my cousin in Houston, Texas, of all places. And, you know, they get a good woman and then they dog her because they feel like she gonna do that to him, so they treat her bad. Or on the flip side, you have a woman who feel like she's so good that, so therefore, she wants to treat men bad because she feel like she all that. Probably because she dealt with those kind of men in the past. I don't know. But these are two different situations, same type of person, unfortunately. You get what I'm saying? 3, if you want to count the married couple that I told you about. That woman, though, is a very beautiful woman. And I know that he kicks himself because he messed over her, and she's just living her life. Now I don't know what goes on behind closed doors and in a relationship and everything else. Is she like the other two women I just talked about? I don't know, because I haven't pursued her in that way, never would. But I'm just speaking from experience. Oftentimes, this is a tidbit of information that I just want to share with ladies. You want to really get back with somebody or get back at somebody who, for whatever reason, treated you bad or whatnot, or you feel like they're not up to snuff or whatnot. Be gracious. Be elegant. Grandma needs to say, kill him with kindness. To be unattainable, but be everything that he wants. Anyway, this is for good people, though. You know what I'm saying? Because the same thing that I just talked about is how you get a good man. You know, that's why I appreciate Kevin Samuels, because what he said was, do you know how to be a wife? Have you gone to school? Have you taken some classes about charming, this, that, and everything else? He's right in that aspect. And the reason why I mentioned Kevin Samuels, because when I first started doing this podcast, my old school partner came to, he said, you doing like Kevin Samuels? And I didn't even know who he was. You know what I mean? But now, since I didn't saw him and everything, and this is after he was assassinated, and I do use the words assassinated because anytime you have someone working that hard trying to bring a black community together, there's somebody who's not going to like it. I believe he was assassinated, but that's neither here nor there. My point is, he was right. Time will promote or expose a lot of people, and time has promoted Kevin to show that he's right. He was right about Aisha Curry, unfortunately. He's right about Megan Thee Stallion, unfortunately. You know what I mean? I pray that Steph and Aisha work that thing out, because we need those examples. Remember, I told you, men and women aspire to certain things. You know what I mean? So I'm sure Clay aspires to have a good woman in his wife like Aisha, to have a marriage like Steph. Meg just wasn't her as of now. You know what I mean? But we'll go to this next clip, and it's going to make a little bit more sense. You get what I'm saying? So that's just the challenge that we're dealing with, and hopefully you can fix yourself and understand it better, because a lot of times this is where people lose themselves. So speaking of losing themselves, unethically yoked, here we go right here. And this
pray
is
for a man of God. And you can't pray for a man of God and keep acting like a city girl. You say you want a husband, but you still have an OnlyFans account, girl. You say you want a husband, but you're in the club every single weekend. You say you want a husband, but you rather get drunk instead of consecrating yourself and preparing to be a Proverbs 31 woman. And let's be real, God is not going to send you his son while you're still entertaining what he told you to let go of. You can't ask for a kingdom man while you're still living like you want the world's attention. You cannot want a man who leads in purpose if you keep settling for ones who only lead in lust. You say you want a husband, but you haven't even prepared yourself to be the woman of God he called you to be so that he can find you. If you're praying for something real, you have to become what you're praying for. You want a man who is solid? Be a woman who is stable. You want a love that lasts? Stop playing like it's a casual fling. So let's not play these games, because God can't do it.
Biggie said it best. Who they attract with their line, what's your name, what's your sign? As soon as he buy that wine, I just creep up from behind. That was me all day. Step in and have a genuinely good conversation with her, but now I'm more like Akon. Don't smoke, don't drink, that's why I don't be by the bar, baby. That's a chosen lifestyle, but my challenge is most people see me now and figure that I never did. Like I was never outside like that. Like I was never smoking a dank like that. Like I was never kicking it like that. Like I was never knocking down ladies like that and everything else. See, I don't just say it to say it, but when they say, hey, taste this, hit this, that's when the confession comes out. And the apprehension sets in, because first of all, why are you trying to influence me? And second of all, what kind of friend are you? True story. I had a family friend, a big homie back in the days that I looked up to. He was sharp, man. And when I say sharp, I mean sharp, a sharp brother. Hanging out here in the north part of Richmond, you know what I'm saying? And let me tell you about North Richmond. North Richmond is the roughest part of my town. It's the most respected part of my town. I'm not saying whether it's the hardest or anything like that. You know what I mean? I'm cool with them brothers. And one thing I found out, that as hard as they is, if you cool, they gonna be cool. But at these particular times, there's only one other Southsider out there with, I'd say 50 or so dog pounders. If you know, you know. And at one moment, I'm like, where my folks at? And I almost felt like Jake on training day, except his car was still there. The thing about it is I had a long walk home out of North, and this was in 94, 95. So I walked through the house and he's in there. So I took a walk through the house where we was at, and he was in there smoking crank, talking about, you should try this, Ron. This is how you going off. This is how you getting at the girls, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's the last time I hung out with dude. I seen him and we could be cool, but back to the subject at hand. What part of Yoked do they fall under is a better observation. Some characteristics seem to be true. I had a co-host, she had a good line with the boiling water line. Aries and Cancers, when you talk about zodiac signs, to go back to Biggie, she said, make steamy water. And it's almost believable, given my past, with not one, but two baby mamas of the Aries descent. The truth is, though, this is what I believe, that any two people can make it together if they're yoked properly and headed in the right direction. But when being connected requires you to compromise your values or explain away red flags to other people, it's probably not properly yoked. And it's definitely not love. That's bondage. And as you can tell by these stories, I'm not speaking on what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. So shout out to all my good ones that know how to make decisions for themselves. It's a difference between leading an adult and leading your kids. Keep this in mind. Most parents are leading their kids in the same direction, but sometimes they have slightly different routes. We speak on mine. It's understanding that true leadership is not scared to go on a path, get so far, see that it's destruction, ain't afraid to make that assumption, announce it, and turn around and go the other way. It's what I did with my kids. My impression of parental discretion, because I didn't have it, Scarface, Ice Cube, and at the time Lil Wayne was all their rage, and every so often I had to pause the deck, a CD, and then tell them, you know Lil Wayne ain't really living like that, right? He ain't killing up folks, he ain't selling dope, right? You understand that, right? And just because he glorifying smoking dope and drinking lean don't mean that it's cool. And look at Lil Wayne now. So the question becomes, what do we do with this? How do we walk away without bitterness and trust God without fear? Being good isn't about perfection. It's about God-ordered outcomes and direction. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Can two people walk together without agreeing on the direction? Amos 3 and 3. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. Psalm 37 and 23. Let the peace of God rule in your hearts. Colossians 3 and 15. I'm not only picky, I want to be chosen. And I know that it's hard for people to understand, especially the ladies, because when the brothers were up doing their thing, particularly in the streets or whatnot, they were the main ones that were doing the women bad because the women wanted to be chosen. So because the men were up and the women were down, pimps up, HOs down. Oh, I'm not going to act like that. All right. I know I'm not the only one that know about that and think about that. The thing is now that the ladies have turned the tables and the shoes are on the other foot. Now y'all want to try to change it and y'all want to treat others bad. But let me tell you, I got a word for you. The word says, remember that you once was an alien. The word also says that you don't treat others the way that they treated you, but you treat them as you want to be treated. So it's good to be good, even to those who left you on your own. And I know, I used to listen to Too Short as well. Short side is burning rubber on a female dog and give her toilet paper for when she do what you do when the toilet paper. Short side is burning rubber on a female dog and give her toilet paper for when she do what she's supposed to do with the toilet paper, right? Y'all know what happens with the toilet paper. So let's just get to the root of everything in the way that it's supposed to be. A good man wants a good woman that will follow him as he's following God. They're going somewhere and it may not always seem like it's good, but yet they're going to find their way. It's a big difference between leading and changing. Well, you have to be the one that could change her. Fellas, how many times have you heard that before? You might be the one that could change her. But there are some things that just won't align and some things that just won't change.
Feminism sold y'all freedom, but they didn't mention the price. Loneliness. Shoot the messenger. Feminism told y'all be strong, independent, and alone. And y'all followed it to the grave. Y'all push all the good men away, call submission slavery, and think being difficult is cute. Now y'all 35 and tired, looking around like, oh, where the good men at? Sis, they moved on. Real men want peace, not problems in a lace front and a loud voice.
Imagine cracking an egg and there's no yolk inside. Would you still try to use and eat that egg? No, you'll toss it to the side and deem it unedible. Even if the recipe calls for egg whites with the yolks removed, it's a big difference between removing the yolk, that is, compromising to make it work, and being compromised, trying to use and eat something that's not even meant for you to consume. We all agree that an egg that does not have no yolk on the inside is not consumable, right? Remember these 3 words. Alignment. If it's not aligned, I don't force it. Trust. If I can't trust myself fully, I trust God completely. Peace. And if it costs me my peace, it costs too much. It's good to be good and align with God and growing together. Together, we can get better. Take care, and as always, God bless.
Dilemma of a good one. Dilemma of a good one. Dilemma.
Genesis to Revelation. This the story of a good one. In the middle of the madness, let it be known.
Gospel Luke cut to a cheap.
I'm a soldier in the struggle, dilemma of a good one. Trying to read the signs while I'm moving with the hood one. Scripture in my ear, feel the weight of the test. But the streets pull me back, Lord grant me rest. Matthew told me pray, Romans keep me strong. Dilemma of a good one, trying to right these wrongs. Temptation in the mirror, spirit in the sky. I'm a good one in the battle, never let the faith die. This dilemma of a good one, walking that fine line. Faith in my heart, but the struggle on my mind. I'm the dilemma of a good one, standing in the light between the pulpit and the block, trying to do right.
Dilemma of a good one, hold on to the truth. From the block to the booth, trying to find my proof. Dilemma of a good one, walking with the saints. Even when I stumble, never showing no complaints.
So, rolling through the bay, dilemma of a good one. Gospel in my speakers, never backing from the front. Ephesians on my mind, trying to keep my spirit up. Proverbs in the chamber when the game get tough. Matthew 7 in my pocket, wolves trying to bite. But the good one in the hustle, moving righteous in the night. DJ cut the beat, bring it back, scratch it raw. Dilemma of a good one, scripture in my draw.
Dilemma of a good one, faith on my tongue. The land we are so holy, where the real get it done. I'm a bishop in the trenches, watch me speak in these flows. Scripture mixed with hustle, yeah, the good one never falls.
It's the dilemma of a good one, like a prayer in the mist. Trying to dodge a serpent's hiss, keep my spirit legit. I'm the good one in the battle, never fade. In the cuts, bay, lingo when Bible talk, never switching up. This dilemma of a good one, walking that fine line. Faith in my heart, but the struggle on my mind. I'm the dilemma of a good one, standing in the light between the pulpit and the block, trying to do right, yeah.
Dilemma of a good one. Seek dilemma of a good, dilemma of a good one. Dilemma of a good one. Dilemma of a good, dilemma of a good one. Dilemma of a good
From
one.
the concrete to the pew, Bay Area stand up, spirit strong, never lose. DJ run in the mix, keep it holy in the groove. Dilemma of a good one, it's for the chosen few.
Dilemma of a good one. 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 Dilemma of a good one.